We're going to do, kind of in honor of our New Hampshire night here, a candidate's guide to how to win votes in your state, something as a governor and senator you've done pretty well. Start off with one of the sort of most standard political questions politicians get. What's the best place, if you're trying to win votes, to eat Lebanese food in New Hampshire?
Well, it used to be at my mother-in-law's in Dover, but sadly she's no longer with us, and so the best place is to go to somebody in the Lebanese community. Now, there's a great place in Salem where they have Lebanese food.
What's that place called?
Oh, I knew you were going to ask me that, and I can't remember.
All right, it's the best place. If you Google Salem, New Hampshire Lebanese food, comes right up.
Okay, and there's another great place in Hampton Falls too.
Okay, Senator, one of the great traditions of the New Hampshire primary is a town hall meeting. Other than extolling the virtues of the Iowa caucuses, what's the biggest mistake a candidate can make in front of a New Hampshire town hall audience?
You know, one of the really great things about New Hampshire and the New Hampshire primary, whether it's a town hall meeting or whether it's in somebody's living room, is that it's an opportunity to really engage with candidates about their vision for the country, to hear and assess who they are, and being genuine, being forthright, being honest is really important in all of those venues, because that's what people are really assessing.
Don't show up wearing a Nixon mask. All right, you're a presidential candidate and you're driving from Manchester to Concord 90 miles an hour because you're late for an event. You get pulled over by one of those nice New Hampshire state troopers. What's the best thing to say?
Give me the ticket and I'll be on my way. Pay your fine and keep moving.
You know what a lot of them say.
And don't drive 90 miles an hour in the first place.
All right, Senator, New Hampshire has one commercial television station, WMUR, correct? Right?
No, actually, we have another television station.
There you go.
WBIN in Concord. So
there you go. And there's competition now for the first time.
And there is competition. And, you know, that's healthy. We like competition in New Hampshire.
Exactly. All right. New Hampshire foods. What is the food you have in New Hampshire that presidential candidates from different parts of the country need to know about?
Well, maple syrup, of course, is very important. And to know that there are different grades of maple syrup. And the lighter the grade, generally it's considered to be better syrup, maple syrup. So that's one of the very important products and foods that we have in New Hampshire.
Senator, if Hillary Clinton does decide to seek the Democratic nomination, what's the most important thing that she could learn from her husband's example in New Hampshire if she goes and campaigns up there?
You know, it is doing exactly what he did, and I think what she did in 2008 when she was running, and that is to engage with voters, to no audience is too small or too large, to really talk to people, to debate, to let people get to know her and what she believes we should do in this country in the future.
Senator, before you were a senator, before you were a governor, you were a pretty darn good political operative. You're staffing a presidential candidate. You're in the car. It's right before Halloween. You're driving to Keene, New Hampshire for the Pumpkin Festival. What do you tell your candidate?
That we don't want any students to get into trouble while we're at the Pumpkin Fest. So we need to get them working in a positive way, supporting the campaign, and that Keene is a great place to visit. It's a place that often votes Democratic, and so it's a really good place to build a lot of good support and a good base for the campaign.
And for people who've never been to that pumpkin event, give them an idea of just how many pumpkins there are, roughly.
Oh, thousands. There are thousands.
Thousands. You're not kidding. It's not exaggeration. It's the craziest thing I've ever seen.
It is. I think it is now the biggest pumpkin festival in the country, certainly, and probably in the world.
This isn't a guide question, Senator, but I'm just curious. You worked for Gary Hart in New Hampshire many, many years ago. What's your fondest memory of that experience?
Well, it was winning, of course. Gary Hart beat Walter Mondale when Mondale had been a vice president, and everybody thought he was going to be the nominee of the party, which he ultimately was, but not after a very tough fight with Gary Hart, and we won in New Hampshire because I think Gary Hart came in and did exactly what we've been talking about. He engaged with voters. He had a vision for where he wanted to take the country, and he persuaded people that that was the vision that they should support.
Senator, we'd planned to bring the interview full circle and run through your best recipe for Lebanese pumpkin, but we're out of time.